Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I'm going to be very frank with you in today's report. As we enter the year 2021, I have never in my life seen so many attacks against conservatives and patriots and Trump supporters, libertarians, Christians, anyone who is just slightly on the right. I have never seen the amount of degradation and bullying and censorship and blacklisting of conservatives that I have seen just entering the year 2021. And I have to tell you that I am terrified of what the future holds, because simply for holding a political opinion, and I'm libertarian for the most part, but I've also got those conservative views, but I have never in my life been afraid for our future as I am today at the amount of censorship and bullying that I have seen entering the year 2021 against us. And I have to tell you, what I have to show you today is going to drop your jaw to the floor, because there is hypocrisy like I have never seen. Not only do I have information on troops being sent to the Capitol, but information that I want to show you, a flashback, if you will, from 2018 on how the media reacted to a breach at the Senate building by anti-Kavanaugh leftists, right, Democrats, and how that is compared to what happened at the Capitol. But let's dive into some of this, because I want to just show you so you can see it for yourself. But before I do, I want to remind you, please don't forget to get on over to noblegoldinvestments.com. It is because of them that I am here on air. And right now, if you convert your 401k into something backed by a gold IRA, you can get this amazing silver coin here, Apollo 11. I freaking love this coin, but it comes with any approved IRA. So give them a call today or contact them at noblegoldinvestments.com and get the process started. Let them know you heard it on Lisa Haven. All right, so let's dive into what's going on in the country. We all know that there was a breach at the Capitol building. And as a result of this particular breach, they are now deploying 6,200 National Guard troops along with a 7-foot wall. Here it is, American Military News. Up to 6,200 National Guard troops will be deployed to D.C. The article says at least 6,200 National Guard troops will be activated and sent to Washington, D.C. after protesters forced their way through several layers of security, including barricades and law enforcement officers, and breached the U.S. Capitol building, forcing Senate and House offices to shelter in place. Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy, who was in charge of the National Guard deployment, said during a press conference alongside D.C. Mayor Bowser that the 6,200 troops will be deployed and remain in place for the next 30 days. McCarthy said a 7-foot non-scalable fence around the Capitol will also remain for the next month. So because of what happened at the Capitol, they are going to erect this wall and deploy 6,200 troops. That's a massive amount. Now, let me also forward or show you this article here, because I want to know exactly how many people have been arrested, because this is going to be important with the next information that I have to show you. Right here it is, LA Times. How many people have been arrested in connection to the pro-Trump Capitol mob? You see how they labeled that? Pro-Trump Capitol mob. As of Thursday night, 82 people have been arrested in connection with the violent mob that overran the Capitol. 82 people so far have been arrested. I want you to keep that number in the back of your mind, because let's go back to 2018 to something similar that happened, right? Take a look at this article and hold on, that's not the right one. Here it is, right here. And this is on CBSNews.com. Anti-Kavanaugh protesters take over the Senate building. Wait, what? Yeah, remember what happened in 2018? There was a mob of leftist, socialized Democrats who took over the Senate building. Amy Schumer was among those who were detained. And not only Amy Schumer, right? They go on to list some of the other actors there. You can see Emily there as well. And also we have New York Senator Kristen Gillibrand also addressed the protesters. And by the way, how many people were arrested at this particular siege? 300 people were detained. 300 people were detained. 82 were detained at the Capitol. 300 were detained at this anti-Kavanaugh protester. But I also want to show you this Hill article there, because I think it's important. Scores of Kavanaugh protesters were arrested after descending on the Senate building. What I want you to notice is they're not calling this a violent mob. They're not labeling it with the same words that they used to describe what happened at the Capitol. Either you're fair or you're not fair. There was arrest. That means there was violence there at the anti-Kavanaugh protest. There was violence there. There was violence at the other one as well. Violence in both places. But notice how the mainstream media shows it. Nothing about violence or nothing about a mob mentality, but 300 people were arrested. But when they go to describe what happened at the Capitol building, because it's on Republican side, they describe it using the words Capitol Mall, pro-Trump, and violence breaking out. This is the hypocrisy of what's going on. And really, by the way, this is what we need to start showing people, our friends, our family members. Show them the rhetoric used to describe one and how many people are arrested, and the rhetoric to describe the other and how many people were arrested. If you're going to be fair, mainstream media, then both of them should have been labeled the same way. But that is not what is happening here. But let's go on to some of the other things that are being called for, right? Because here's the thing. The mainstream media downplayed the Kavanaugh events. They downplayed all of it, right? And there was no arrest called for Kristen Gillibrand, right? Who was there as a speaker. No arrest was called for her. But yet, President Trump, who spoke at the rally, they are now calling for his impeachment, and some are even calling for his arrest. Take a look here. I'll go to CNN.com. House Democrats eye quick impeachment vote if Pence rebuffs attempts to remove Trump from office. Not only that, but of course we have AOC calling for it. If the 25th Amendment is not invoked today, she says, Congress must reconvene immediately for impeachment and removal proceedings. In other words, they want to impeach him so he can never, ever run again that second term. Then we have here Ilhan Omar obviously backs it. And not only are they calling for the impeachment of President Trump, but also calling for the resignation of Senator Cruz. You must accept responsibility for how your craven self-serving actions, she says, contributed to the deaths of 4 people today. Wow, and how you fundraised off this riot. Both you and Hallie must resign. If you do not, the Senate should move for your expulsion. Whoa. Why wasn't anything called against Kristen Gillibrand? I'm just saying the hypocrisy is massive. So what are they calling for now as a result of what happened at the Capitol? By the way, if you haven't watched my report yesterday, I want to encourage you to do that and get on Parler. Please start getting off these alternative media platforms. I am on Parler under Lisa Haven there. And by the way, get on restrictedrepublic.com. It is there that we're sharing more additional content because, like I said, the attacks against conservatives and patriots, libertarians are all intensifying day by day. I've never seen anything like it before. We should be allowed to have a political view. I am against, look, if you're a liberal, you're allowed to have that view. And I don't care if I disagree with you or not. I will fight for your freedom to stand up and say that view. And thus it should be with every political side. And that's not what's happening. Get to Restricted Republic right now. There's a 14-day free trial and you can cancel whenever you want. And that's where I am putting exclusive additional content on restrictedrepublic.com. All right. So with that, what are some of the things that they're also now calling for? Here we are on the Daily Wire. ABC News political director says, get rid of Trump is the easy part. Getting rid of President Trump is the easy part. However, cleansing the movement, he commands, is something else. In other words, he is talking about, this ABC News political director is saying, we need to cleanse out Trump supporters. And here's the actual tweet, by the way, which he's deleted. It's Rick Klein there. And he says, Trump will be an ex-president in 13 days. The fact is that getting rid of Trump is the easy part, but cleansing the movement he commands is going to be something else. This is ABC controlled news, obviously run by the far left. That's terrifying. This is just recent, right? Here we have another one here. Mediaite.com, Georgia Congressman says justice system that feasts on black votes should treat Trump and his company like it treated Negroes. Let me play that clip for you. Take a listen.
So we've got to make sure that those who come after Donald Trump know that they will not be allowed to get away with what Donald Trump did, that they will be held accountable. They will be treated, yes, like Negroes. They will.
Wow. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But this is the kind of rhetoric they're saying. Let's move on a little bit here. Here we have a WashingtonExaminer.com. Top Democrat urges TSA and FBI to put Capitol rioters on no-fly list. Right? We also have this one right here, redstate.com. Simone and Schuster cancels Josh Hawley's book deal, and the senator responded accordingly. You see, because Hawley was one of the ones who stood against and basically contested the election, they said, we're going to stop your book deal and blame the riots, blame what happened with the protests and the riots on you. And this is what they've done. Complete and utter craziness coming from the far left. Here we have Facebook. You already know this, but this is on CNN. Facebook has banned the president of the United States from posting for the remainder of his term in office, not to mention the 12-hour ban that I talked about yesterday on Twitter of the president of the United States. Then we also have Michelle Obama on Breitbart.com calling for big tech to ban Donald Trump even more, to completely eliminate him and remove him from their platforms because of his political stance. Then we have redstate.com mega moratorium. In light of Wednesday's events, Shopify removes Trump-related retail. No joke. We're not going to sell your stuff anymore. This is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about that's happening in America, where retailers and, banks and organizations are literally saying, if you're a Trump supporter, we're not giving you service. This is going to divide our country like I've never seen before, and is akin to some of the beginning things that happened in Nazi Germany. Then we have OAN News here. U.S. corporations consider blocking monetary support to GOP. And here it is, ABC News, CNBCnews.com. Yale's Sonnenfeld says CEO may stop supporting Republicans who back Trump election challenges. That is what's going on in the United States of America. This is one sick world that we are living in right now. And I have to tell you, the hypocrisy is massive. But what we really have to start doing is showing people the hypocrisy, how one side is acceptable and one isn't acceptable, how one side can pretty much do anything and get bailed out. By the way, let me show you this. I skipped this, but I still think it's important. NewYorkPost.com, Kamala Harris blasted for praising BLM as essential and brilliant amid violence. So one side is essential and brilliant for violence, and the other side is a violent mob. They're both. It's hypocritical. Anyway, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Don't forget to get on over to Restricted Republic and subscribe to the channel here because YouTube is on a rampage deleting people. So you may want to check your subscription. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.